What's good with y'all boys? Welcome back to another episode of Rand Everything Sports Podcast. Today I'm here to give my pre-Super Bowl prediction, preview, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to just break down the Kansas City Chiefs, their side of the ball, my three keys to victory for them, the 49ers side of the ball, and my three key victories on their side of the ball as well, and my full game prediction. But before we get started with the video, we're 4 subscribers away from 100, the big triple digits, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe, y'all like, y'all share with your grandma, mom, friends, family, grandpa, whoever is in your family, whoever you're close to. Share this podcast and get us to 100 followers. But let's get into the video now, man. The Super Bowl is among us. These are the two most deserving teams and are outright the two best teams. Listen, everybody was doubting the Chiefs and Mahomes the whole year. I didn't understand it. You never, ever doubt out a guy like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Hank Aaron, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Those are the guys you don't bet against and you never count out. And the media did it all year. I was not a part of that group. I had them in my rankings, usually within the top, for sure the top 5. I did have them really low at one point. I want to say it was after the Broncos lost maybe, but they never fell out of the top 10, and I always gave them a chance. So I don't know how they did that. Now, I was lower on Brock Purdy, and he definitely has swayed me in a little bit of a way. I'm not going to say I was wrong about him because I never said he wasn't good. I never said he wasn't good. I always said he was a good quarterback. But what I didn't understand is how people were throwing him into those MVP conversations, into the top 10 quarterbacks, top 12 quarterback conversations. He's not there yet. Can he get there one day? Maybe so. I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't think so because he has shown me a lot of things. But that's all, talk. Let's get into the game, man. Start off with the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, they've started off incredibly slow in their first 2 playoff games and Brock Purdy's last 2 playoff games. Both on the offensive side of the ball, they're averaging 7 points in the first half, and they're averaging 1 turnover. Now, they are Brock Purdy's turnovers, but they're only averaging 7 points and 1 turnover in the first half. That's not winning football. And on the defensive side of the ball, they're allowing 140 passing yards in the first half and 15 points in the first half as well. So if they took their 2 combined first halves, scoring 7 points, they'd be at 14 points, and they would be giving up 15 points. So that means they would lose. But the good thing for them is there's 2 halves and there's 4 quarters. I mean, Brock Purdy has really been a completely different quarterback in the second half of these games, especially in that Lions game. Now, the Green Bay game, defense kept them in it, had 2 turnovers with Dre Greenlaw, a shanked field goal by the Green Bay kicker, forgetting his name. But listen, they've definitely gotten lucky, but that's what this sport's about. You got to make plays to win games, and Brock Purdy has made the plays when it mattered most. The defense as well, and the opponents really haven't. So you got to give them credit for that. And that's not all. That's not all on their opponents. They did great things offensively and defensively to come out victorious in those games. So you got to give them credit. Now, my 3 keys to victory for the San Francisco 49ers. Number 1, you got to start fast. You can ill afford to go down multiple scores, or maybe not any scores, to this Chiefs team. While I do understand they're not the same offensively, their defense is better. And that's maybe scarier, considering that you give possibly the best quarterback of all time a great defense, and you give him that comfortable ability to just sit back there and not feel like he has to force balls and do certain things because he has a great defense behind him. So you got to start fast. You cannot get out behind this Chiefs team. Like I said, they're not the same offensively, but they're significantly better defensively. So you can ill afford to get behind early, and you must have a fast start. Number 2, you have to establish the run game, a.k.a. get the ball to Christian McCaffrey. You have to keep this Kansas City defense on their heels. If you become one-dimensional, they're going to eat you up. Brock Purdy, we've seen what he does without the stars. You look at the 3 games they lost in the regular season. The first 3 they lost to the Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals. I'm not going to say shut down McCaffrey because you can never shut down a great player. But they kind of handicapped him a little bit and didn't allow him to be quite explosive as he usually is. And Brock Purdy looked terrible. So you have to get that run game going. You have to get McCaffrey the ball early and often and establish that off-balance, good-paced offense that Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, and that entire offense side of the ball knows they can do. And number 3, you have to disrupt Mahomes. Listen, with any quarterback, if you get pressure on him, if you sack him, if you force him to get the ball in his hands quick, that's money for you. The Chiefs are 1-4 in games where Mahomes has been sacked 3+ times. Listen, the last really, really bad game, and maybe the worst game of Mahomes' career, was this most recent Christmas Day against the Raiders. Mahomes had a pick six, a fumble, a weird handoff to Pacheco, and that's because Max Crosby and the Raiders were on his ass. They were getting after him. And like I said, with any quarterback, especially the ones with any quarterback, if you pressure them and disrupt them, they're going to fall. And no matter how good you are. So you have to disrupt Mahomes. You have to shut down the run game and get on him. Force him to make his receivers play one-on-one and make his receivers outside of Kelsey prove that they can win in one-on-one battles. So pressure him, send 7 guys if you have to, or 6 guys and double Kelsey, and just play man-to-man on the rest. But force him to get the ball out of his hands early and force his skill positions outside of Kelsey to prove that they can win one-on-one. Now, those are my side of the ball for the Chiefs, or for the Niners. Now, for the Kansas City side of the ball, or Kansas City Chiefs team. They've been a completely different team in these playoffs. They just have. And I was saying it all year. You can never count out a team with arguably the best quarterback ever, a top 5 coach ever, arguably, and an arguable, best tight end ever. And now giving him a top 3 defense the whole year. Listen, you can never count him out. You just can't. And if you did, I don't know how you could. I love the argument when they say, oh, this is the stats from this year. No. With great players and really with almost anything, if it's a similar roster and it's a similar situation, you have to take into account the history of these things. That's how we know if somebody's a great player most of the time. How do they match up against the other greats? How do they look in this situation? How do they look in that situation? Listen, you cannot count out a team who's been to 4 Super Bowls now in 5 years. And before this has been 3 and 4. You can't count a team out like this with all the talent they have. Yeah, I know it's not as glaring and obvious as it once was, but when you still have the key positions, quarterback, tight end, coach, and a great defense, you can't count them out. My 3 keys to victory for the Chiefs would be, number 1, disrupt Purdy early. Get him off rhythm early. Listen, this is the biggest game of his life. This is the biggest game for a lot of these guys' life. 90% of them, honestly. This is the biggest game of their career. And listen, it's going to be a different amount of pressure on Purdy. And he understands that if he gets down and if he plays as poorly as he did in the first 2 playoff games, they're not going to win, and it's not going to be even close. Disrupt them early. And my second point, which I was just about to say, that's why I hesitated. Because I was about to say my second point, which is take away CMC. Disrupt Purdy early and take away CMC. If you stop that run game, if you shut him down for the most part, I know there's levels to it. You can't ever shut down a good player. But if you can try your best or do as much as you can or get as close to shutting him down as you possibly can, that's huge. And you will be victorious for the Chiefs. Take away CMC and force Brock Purdy to beat you. Listen, if Brock Purdy dices you up, makes plays, both running, throwing, just plays an unbelievable Super Bowl, you can live with that. What you can't live with is Christian McCaffrey beating you. You know who their best players are, especially their best players singular. You got to take away CMC. And my third is get up early. Get up early on the Niners and pound them. Listen, if you get up early, I think the Chiefs win. I think, and we've seen it with Baltimore, and they were up early. The Niners were up early in that game. But when you're playing against another great quarterback and you know that you can never be comfortable, which the Niners have not faced a great quarterback yet. Jared Goff, he's good. He had a great year. Jordan Love, he's off to a great start in his career, but those are not great quarterbacks. They're going from C+, B- level quarterback in Jared Goff to a B-, B+ quarterback in Jared Goff. I'm sorry, B- Jordan Love. And then B+ Jared Goff to a damn S tier quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. So it's going to be a completely different story for him. Now, for my game prediction, you know who I'm riding with. I will never bet against history. I never bet against Jordan-like player in Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking the Chiefs to win 22-20. I can see them winning by 10-plus points. I can for sure see them covering the spread, but I do have the Chiefs winning. Now, if these two teams both do what they need to do, especially the Niners, if they start fast and establish that run game, the Chiefs are in some trouble. But I do have the Chiefs winning 22-20. I don't think anybody's going to get blown out. I don't see that happening. It's going to be a great game. And this is how I think the game flow is going to go, and how I think the whole game itself is pretty much going to go. The Chiefs are going to start slow. In all 3 Super Bowls they've played in so far, they've started slow. They just have. They've been down. They were down early against the Niners. They were down by 10 with like 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They were never up at all against the Bucs. They got damn destroyed. And then this last one against the Eagles, they were down by double digits as well until, that fumble 6 by Nick Bolton and Jalen Hurts. So they're going to start slow. I think it's just going to happen. I don't see them, especially with the lack of talent they have offensively, especially in the receiving room. I don't see them starting slow. Maybe they come out and score, maybe get a touchdown or a field goal. But I'm talking about starting slow as in like after the first drive, they're going to just stall, I think. Then I have the defense, keeps them in it for the Chiefs. Like I said, I think they're going to start slow, but that great defense that they now have will keep them in it. Then I think Purdy has a huge turnover that kind of turns the game and gets the Chiefs back in it because I think he can do that. And then I think CMC makes a big play to put him back up late. And then I think KC goes back up really late in the fourth quarter. And then Purdy comes out, crowd rocking, the pressure of the world is on him, and the Kansas City Chiefs defense gets a stop, turnover, whatever, and it's game over. So that's my game prediction and preview for the 58th Super Bowl. I cannot wait to watch, man. But that will be the end of the video. I appreciate y'all watching. And as always, tune in next time.